UFC 300 is finally here. It is time. This Saturday, it all goes down. We get to be a part of and experience probably the biggest, if not the best UFC event ever to go down. Honestly, we just need to take a second to realize that we have 11 people on this card that have either been champion before or are currently champion from top to bottom. This card, any one of these fights on this card could easily be a fight night main event. Any one of the fights on the undercard could easily be a fight night main event. This is probably the biggest UFC event of all time, and I just can't wait to watch it. And today I'll be giving you my picks for the undercard only, and then I'll be dropping the next video based on the main card because there's just too many fights in here that are too good to miss. So I'm going to start with the undercard, and then the next video will be the main card. I'll be giving you my picks, my breakdowns. Let's get into it. Okay, let's kick off the undercard. First and foremost, 6 former champions in this undercard. 6 former champions. And the first fight of the night is 2 former champions, Deiveson Figueiredo, Cody Garbrandt. Cody Garbrandt held the belt at 135. Deiveson Figueiredo has held the belt at 125. Obviously, Deiveson coming up to 135. He had a successful debut against Rob Font. He looked absolutely brilliant in that fight. Beautiful technical display. Cody Garbrandt, on the other hand, has fought the who's who of the bantamweight division. Dominic Cruz, TJ Dillashaw, all these tough guys in the bantamweight division. In his last fight, he looked really good, really sharp, focusing more on the technical side of his martial arts. We do know that in the past, Cody has been drawn into those emotional type firefights where it's either that guy's getting finished or he's getting finished. And unfortunately, he's ended up on the bad end of those exchanges. He did look a little more technical in that last fight. With that being said, Deiveson Figueiredo looked so clean against Rob Font. He has more power, a little more cardio. He's not depleting himself completely to get to 125. And I just think he's a little sharper. He's blending things together. He's using his wrestling. You saw him use his wrestling against Rob Font, against Brandon Moreno. So he's blending all the aspects of martial arts and kind of just becoming a complete fighter. And he has the power to get it done at 125 or 135. So my pick for this fight is going to be Deiveson Figueiredo. The next fight on the undercard, we got Jim fucking Miller versus Bobby King Green. Both of these guys have a lot of experience, both veterans in the sport. Jim Miller fought on UFC 100, UFC 200, and now UFC 300. Bobby Green has fought everyone in the lightweight division, taken fights on short notice, stepped up to the plate, performed. Both of these guys super tough, super durable. Bobby Green is fast, he is powerful, he's got accuracy in his hands. I believe if this remains a striking exchange, Bobby Green can kind of take the pace on that, but this is a fight and Jim Miller is a dog. He's got great grappling. He's got powerful strikes himself. He mixes it up with the kicks, with the hands, with the wrestling, with the jiu-jitsu. I just think it's too good of a story not to pick Jim Miller. UFC 100, UFC 200. Let's get it done for UFC 300. Jim Miller for the win. Next up on the card, we got Jessica Andrade versus Marina Rodriguez. Jessica Andrade, obviously a former champion. She's beat Rose Namajunas. She's beat some big names in the sport. The thing about this fight is Marina is gonna be the more technical on the feet. Obviously, Jessica Andrade has the power, the ability to put these women out and finish the fight at any point. If Marina can stay out of Jessica's range, I think she can do well. But Jessica has fought a lot of girls that have implemented that game plan or tried to implement that game plan. So I think if Jessica can go forward, kind of disrespect the power of Marina Rodriguez, walk through those punches, get to the inside, and get her big shots to land, then I think it's going to be a good night for Jessica Andrade, and I got her winning the fight. Now we got Jalen Turner versus Renato Moicano. This is a tough fight for me to pick. Jalen Turner is super explosive on the feet, is snappy with his punches, snappy with his kicks, so fast. When he throws his kicks and his punches, they're just so fast, and he has so much range and accuracy with him that it really makes him a dangerous fighter on the feet. Renato Moicano is kind of hitting a stride though. He's getting really strong, and he's got a lot of submissions. We saw that Jalen Turner struggled a little bit on the ground, even with Dan Hooker when he put him there. I think it's a hard fight to pick, but if I'm gonna go to one side, I might lean towards Jalen Turner because he's so snappy on the feet And if he could avoid the wrestling exchanges and keep it on the feet and keep striking, big punches, big kicks, mixing up the attacks, mixing up all his attacks with legs, high, low, middle range, all of it, I think he could be successful in this fight. So I'm going to pick Jalen Turner for the win. Next is Sadiq Youssef versus Diego Lopez. Diego Lopez and I were actually in the same Combat Jiu-Jitsu World's featherweight bracket. We didn't end up getting to face each other. He got knocked off in the quarterfinals. I got knocked off in the semifinals. But since then, he made his UFC debut against a tough featherweight contender in Ivloev and just looked absolutely incredible. He showed good submissions off of his back, good power in his hands, dangerous fighter with his jiu-jitsu, with his ground game, and I'm excited to see where this goes. Sadiq Youssef has also shown that he can go to war. He went to war with Edson Barbosa. Both of these guys are super gritty, super tough, can go into those deep waters. Sadiq is a little more technical on the feet. I feel like he's more calculated about his placement with his striking. If I had to pick, I'm leaning a little towards Sadiq Youssef just because he's a little sharper on the feet, but Diego Lopez is super dangerous. He can throw up submissions at any time. He's got power in his hands. It's kind of a pick 'em for me, but I'm going to go ahead and lean towards Sadiq Youssef. This next one is huge because we finally get to see Kayla Harrison in the UFC cage and against no easy task in Holly Holm. Holly Holm, obviously a former bantamweight champion, knocked out Ronda Rousey, the shot heard around the world. And the great thing is we get to watch these women go out into the cage and prove to themselves and everybody else why they are widely considered some of the greatest female MMA athletes of all time. Holly Holm is quick, explosive, and very strategic when she's in there, when she's fighting. Kayla Harrison has such strong grappling, two-time Olympic gold medalist in judo. I think Holly has already done what everyone wants to achieve in the sport, and I think Kayla Harrison is still trying to get there. She's hungry, she's looking for it. I'm going to give the edge to Kayla Harrison for this one. Both of them are amazing fighters, and I can't wait to see what happens, but I'm going to give the win to Kayla Harrison. This card is so insane. Just making this video and actually going in depth on every fight that's happening back to back to back makes me, it fucking blows my mind how many good fights we get to see just from the undercard to the main card. I'm so damn excited. The next fight on this list on the undercard is the former bantamweight champion Aljamain, the Funk Master Sterling, versus Calvin Kattar. His featherweight, Aljamain's featherweight debut against Calvin Kattar, a guy who's been a top contender for a while now. Look, I think we all know what the game plan is for each of these guys going into this fight. I think Aljo is going to try to grapple him, get to his back and backpack him like he does. And Calvin Kattar is going to try to stick on the outside, pick him apart, land big shots, and put him to sleep. Aljamain obviously already proving that he is championship caliber. He's won the belt at bantamweight. He's considered by many one of the greatest bantamweight champions of all time. His grappling is so high level, his wrestling, his jiu-jitsu. He's taken Olympic gold medalist Henry Cejudo down. Pretty sure he's taken down most everyone he fights. And typically when he gets you to the ground, his positional dominance is so strong. He can remain in those positions. That's why they call him the human backpack. When he gets there, it's tough to get out no matter who you are. Calvin Kattar, though, is defending that featherweight division. He gets to show Aljamain Sterling in his bantamweight debut just how much power these featherweights pack. And if he can stay on the outside, use his boxing, keep Aljo away from the legs, keep his back off the fence so that Aljo can't get to his grappling from there, make it a stand-up battle, I think he can have a lot of success. I do think that Aljo is funky enough on the feet and is dynamic enough with the kicks, with the hands, with the elbows, with the clinch, that he can eventually get inside. And I think if he puts Calvin Kattar to his butt and starts getting to his grappling, he's going to win this one. So I'm going to go with Aljamain, the former bantamweight champion, as the winner of this fight. And to top off this absolutely mind-blowing undercard, which can easily be a main card if you just add a title fight on top of it, we got Alexander Rakic versus Yuri Prochazka, the samurai. Alexander Rakic, very calculated, very precise. He's got the power, he's got the explosivity. He's a big light heavyweight. And on the other hand, we already know what Yuri's about. He's about that violence. He's about that war. He makes it crazy. He throws unorthodox techniques and he throws them with power. If y'all haven't seen Yuri's knockout over Dominic Reyes, after this video, go back and watch that shit and get your mind absolutely fucking blown. The thing about Rakic is he knows how to get it done. He knows how to get the win when he steps into the octagon most of the time. He did have an injury, and in that time, Yuri has been fighting some of the best guys in the world. The Glover Teixeiras, the Alex Pereiras. So I think the advantage, I'm slightly going towards Yuri Prochazka because of his unorthodox style, because he's had those championship fights, which he's got so many learning lessons from. So if he can apply those to this next fight, I think we'll see Yuri Prochazka as the winner and just the perfect fight to end UFC 300 prelims with, and to get ready to kick off that main card. That's it for the undercard, y'all. It is absolute insanity. Make sure to go and check out the next video where I break down the main card and I give you my picks for who's gonna win those. I'll see you there.